What do we have here, Mr. Mushroom in the Forest? So I did want to talk about the resiliency of our civilizations here. For the last 10,000 years, we've come, we've gone, we've had the great civilizations from Egypt to Mesopotamia, Sumeria, Anchor civilization, these Indus Valley civilization, India in its classic Vedic times. We've come, we've gone. Why is that? What is the cycle with it? Now, somebody wrote me on my Patreon and was asking me about, go into more population. What do you mean about population? Puppy cameo right there. She likes to follow around. Just some little trails here and across the property. A little bit of natural feature here, a quick waterfall. Wind's starting to come up a little bit. So the resiliency of our, should say, civilization. Now, just on population numbers themselves, our world never really went above, say, 250 to 300 million people, at least in our history that we've gotten, for the last 10,000 years. And suddenly, the story goes that we got some sort of compressed steam engine, compressed steam, compressed air to allow spindles to move. But they had that compressed air energy technologies back in the days of the Egyptians. And also Rome had it as well, so it was passed down. So you have to think about understanding pressures of water in a confined space. That air can't go anywhere, so it's going to compress. And what to do with that. How do you harness that? So perhaps the entire history that we've been given of our timelines is not exactly correct. But I will just say with our traditional timelines, 10,000 years, we never went above 250 million to 350 million. Now, it could be, there are these periodic resets like mud floods and geomagnetic pole shifts on smaller levels. Something had to have changed the climate enough to dry it out in the Indus Valley and also Mesopotamia and Iraq and Iran that are now deserts. Something caused that to go from, like the forest I'm standing in, into a desert. What kind of shift would that be climatically is the question. So it's almost as if we were allowed to increase our population at this time. Why? Was it for some task to build something out is the question. We've never risen above the 250 million and now we're at 8 billion. So now think about it. The task is now completed, whatever the task was. It took us 3 centuries of supposed innovative technologies. Perhaps they were just built on top, because you notice there's never a delay in new technology coming out. It's almost as if they're on the shelf and they're waiting and they're just ready to go. Another little wood mushroom. Ooh, that's a goodie. COVID seemed to be the beginning of it, where there was essential and non-essential people. Like they had already gotten your mind used to categorizing you as useful or non-useful any longer for the build out of our civilization. Think about it. Banks, billionaires, and countries are loading up on physical gold and silver. Why? Because when markets swing, real assets hold their value. That's how generational wealth is passed down. Don't wait until the headlines confirm what's already happening behind closed doors. It's time to protect what you've built. Noble Gold's precious metal specialists are standing by to answer your questions and walk you through every step. They make it simple to own investment grade gold or silver that you can put in your hands or into your retirement account. And for a limited time, offer silver bonus. 1 10-ounce silver flag bar plus 1 silver American Eagle proof coin for new qualified accounts, IRA, or cash purchases. That's 2030gold.com. And with half the world moving to a gold-backed currency, you have to wonder what's going to happen in the future. That's 2030gold.com, or click on that link in the description box below. Now we come into the AI thing and they're like, everybody's redundant. So even if you had a professional career and you took all that time to study, whatever it was that put you in a professional white collar job has been completely outsourced by AI. So it comes back into the things that we needed for the coding, the finance, the accounting, all of these types of things, from attorneys to medical advice, can all be done by AI now. It seems as if that the world's use for humans is over for at least this iteration of it. Like, they've done what they want to do. Now the redundancy's here, and we start to know that everybody who's not physical labor worker is now non-essential. But, you know, those who can still build the houses until we can get into some sort of, you know, concrete printing that can be autonomously mixed, delivered through trucks, etc. Those that are doing bricks, those that are doing anything with the hands, from plumbing, home building, all the way down. Until we get to the level of robotics to be able to do that, those are the ones that win right now. Everything's being outsourced completely. So did you ever think the day that all that college degree and all that money that they've been telling you for the last 70 to 80 years, spend or else you won't get a good job, is now completely the opposite, where the trades are the ones that are going to be the winners during this time? We're being given the message that humans are no longer important, you're no longer needed, and they need to reduce the numbers. They keep talking about the useless eaters, the carbon that needs to be removed is a carbon-based life form. It says if the planet's being terraformed for something different to just step in and take over, but the pesky people that live there, for example, are still in the way, called humans. So think about the history of mankind. Those numbers were always limited, at least according to the historical timelines. Oh, we hear those acorns popping in the back. We'll come by and harvest a bunch of those later. Suddenly, the numbers are allowed to run to 8 billion, and now it's being pushed back down on purpose. So we ran that course, now it's back down. So I would say mission accomplished, whatever it was. So I don't know if you agree or disagree with that, but where does the world go from now? If humans are no longer needed, every single white-collar job, and those are the ones that are smart enough to hire attorneys, get angry, organize things, you know how to communicate, use social communication quite a bit other than others, because that's their professional careers, was, you know, that whole scheduling thing, that whole detailing thing, that whole connection thing, the email list, the audit, you get stuck in that corporate world. That world is what they're used to operating in anyway. So you're plucking that away, you're taking their identities away. There's no longer, I am a You're a nothing now because AI just outsourced you completely. You're not even non-essential, it's just you're redundant. That's a way different than essential or non-essential. Still gives you some human element of it. Now they're telling you you're just disposable, basically. When you look at that, you're redundant. We can make an extra AI copy of you, and your soul, your human existence is no longer needed. Thanks for playing the game for 80 years and getting into the debt trap and thing to push this to the apex where we needed to bring it to completion with AI or whatever. I'm not even going to say AI would be it, but something has run up to the tech specs where we're done. Maybe the completion to provide safety for those on a certain, number of thousands of years cycle would have brought us up to this point. This cycle will run its course. Think about the number of comets right now that are running through our skies. That's always been an omen, these comets. Doesn't matter what society you are, what time period through the last 10,000 years, when large comets come through, there's vast changes on Earth. So think about it, we got 5 comets in the sky right now, so where does that leave us then? Which makes me wonder how many things are like really on a known cycle of repeat and return. That's a good question to ask also. Because if some person's in power and wealth and, billionaires, etc., the 2.5 club, if they had the foreknowledge, would you not use your 2.5 billion and build some safety somewhere, or be part of a club of people that were building underground safety nets for themselves and their families and their next generation? Perhaps. There's a lot of things disappearing right now, And whatever we are at the end of this cycle, we've culminated with population, we've culminated with technology of population, building out that subset of whatever, you know, your mind couldn't go there in an experiment. What would it be used for? Well, we have all of the magnetic reversal coming in right now. We have all the comets in the skies, which are known omens anyway forever. And are we just at another collapse phase? And things couldn't be salvaged, but thanks for the, you know, what was that movie, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe? Like, thanks for the fish. Like, thanks for all your labor. We got everything complete now. And we start back, and then, you know, what will history record of this time? It'll just be another reset. Oh, the great civilization, what would they even, none of our buildings will really last. There won't be many great, like, megaliths or anything left from our time period except like superstructures on the highways that were built or something, right? Anything of that magnitude of large concrete and rebar will still be here in thousands of years, but nothing else will. So just something to think about. You know, all of these things culminating, and then the clear, absolutely starkly, incredibly clear messaging. Humans are no longer wanted, needed, or required. So we've run to the end on multiple levels of how you gauge a society. Our economy is tweaking now. We're at the full end of a debt cycle. Has to start with something new, or else it just can't keep moving forward. So the question is, how many humans will be required just to do the menial task to keep this place going? Think of it as a farm. Like, the herd has been, well, they're being sent off to the stockyard for auction right now. How many of them are going to be required to stay back and repopulate with some knowledge base to bring up the next generations that are needed for maintenance tasks and repair operations, MRO perhaps. Like, there'll be an MRO population left. What do you think that number is? That's the question. Think of it as a farm. Think of this earth as a farm. And what we consider nation states or borders as different farming methods within those fenced areas called borders. What's required just to keep the lights on? Like, bare bones staff, skeletal staff is the best term. Would we come down to skeletal staff, and then when other tasks are needed to bring up another multi-century confluence of technologies and population growth and new energy sources all meet the same piece of road here? Because that sure seems like what happened. And if you're looking at that smooth curve, we're heading down, but perhaps it's a precipitous drop off, I don't know. Anyway, thanks for listening to my rant.